Hello, my name is Matthias Kavodik, the Well Guys to my channel. Today, we're going to talk about Excalibur issue number 8. It's written by Chris Claremont. And in this particular issue, that when I reread it the other day, I thought to myself, this issue would not come out nowadays. But it came out in the late 80s. What was politically correct or incorrect back then was very different from what you would consider correct or incorrect nowadays. And I just really want to share it with you guys because at least I thought it was just really interesting to see the mindset during the time. I feel like Claremont is a little bit insensitive how he sort of touches on race issues in this issue, but I don't think it's like a travesty. It revolves around the character Meggan, who's a shapeshifter. I don't think Claremont was being mean-spirited or anything, but there's like one page that I thought to myself, like, oh shit, things got really complicated here. So prior to this, Excalibur were dealing with the whole situation of Inferno. Rachel went to New York to protect her brother during that whole crossover, Nathan. And obviously, Excalibur weren't far behind. They come to New York. Things get pretty crazy. Meggan becomes this Goblin Princess or Goblin Queen Jr., whatever. Here we have a panel with her. She looks really cool. So now the team's off for the day. Kitty Pryde goes to visit the X-Men. She cross paths with the New Mutants. Rachel goes and visits her little brother at the X-Factor base. Nightcrawler goes and steals a Blackbird for some reason. Meggan is sort of like reeling from all the dark stuff she did during Inferno. So it's like she's crying under her pier, dealing with that. And Brian Baddock wakes up in a hotel trying to find Meggan, so he's going to go into the city. So we have two stories. Meggan, who's going to discover New York City and have a ball and meet a lot of people from different ethnicities and see how incredible their lives are. And Brian Baddock really hating the city, having a real hard time. And since he's far away from Great Britain, he's lost his powers, or he's much weaker in his powers in general. So he can't fly. He's really hating New York. So we have Meggan. She's under a pier. She befriends a group of like Latina girls. I'm not sure. It's never established where they actually come from. They look sort of Latina. I might be totally wrong. So the interesting thing about Meggan, she's a shapeshifter, a metamorph, but she always shifts into and tries to look like the people around her, or seeks validation from other people trying to look like them. She's actually a fascinating character. So she befriends these girls. They take her around town. She's having a blast. Then after that, like out of nowhere, she leaves her new friends and she befriends this Asian guy. They go dancing. Hilarious. Like she's with these gals and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, that looks fun. I'm going over there. So she goes out with this Asian guy. This Asian guy tries to put the moves on her. She freaks out. It's like, oh, I remember I'm sort of in love with Brian Baddock, but I sort of have a thing for Nightcrawler because things got complicated during this time for her. Then she ends up in the Bronx or Harlem or whatever, one of these boroughs in New York, and she becomes a black lady, and she learns how to play basketball. She's enjoying these new type of people when she's found by Brian Baddock, and here's where things get really sketchy and might get people really angry. So she's telling Brian Baddock how much fun she's having in New York and all these different type of people and this multicultural city and their customs and stuff like that, so on and so forth. And Brian Baddock is like, I don't like your new features. Like, he doesn't like she's black. He's really pissed off. And Meggan's like really hurts, like, but you still love me on the inside. Don't you, even though my skin color is different? And Brian Baddock just doesn't say anything. And she shapeshifts back to being a blonde woman. I can imagine like a kid from nowadays reading this and thinking to himself, we got to cancel Chris Claremont for some shit he wrote 30 years ago. But outside of that, like, this was pretty jarring. Like, it sort of caught me off guard. But like 80s comic books would do stuff like that. Not about race all the time, like every once in a while. But they would be like super happy-go-lucky and very cartoonish, and all of a sudden get really, really serious on one page out of nowhere. And that's why, at least for me, I find them so entertaining. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. The next big story arc, boy, oh boy, you got the Nazi Excalibur, and they have a slave Shadowcat, who's obviously Jewish, and this is really, really good story. So I'm going to leave it here. See you guys next time. Bye.